Hello and welcome. I'm Josh Keegan and I am Aussienaut. Just welcome you to this live stream of the ERIS 1 ERIS mission test flight 1. Apologies, guys. I'll say this up front. I'm sick, and I have been for the last few days. So, yeah, unfortunately, this will not be nearly the high quality that you expect, just simply because I don't have all my mental faculties. I'm currently being propped up by quite a lot of caffeine. So, yes, this is a live stream. And yes, up in the top corner there, you can definitely see the rocket standing on the pad. So we are quite a little way away from this actually happening at the moment. So it's going to be a little while. I believe I've heard reports that it's going to happen around about 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. I've also heard things as well that it's going to be 2 p.m. So I'm not quite sure just yet when this is all going to happen. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and bring you the best images I possibly can. The problem at the moment I've got is that I'm being defeated by wind, which is not a great thing. It's actually having a big impact on the stability of the camera, and the other thing is too is I'm getting a lot of atmospheric distortion being this zoomed in. But as you can see right there, center stage in the middle of the screen is the ERIS rocket. So there we go. All right, apparently the audio is low. Ooh, okay, all right. Good to know. Good to know. Hang on, I'll just have to sort out. There's been a few technical issues I've experienced with doing this today, so I'll have to see exactly. I'll try and figure things out on the way. So there might be some times where there'll be nothing more than you will see the launch pad and nothing else while I sort out some additional technical issues, and then we'll try and figure out what I'll do from there. So I'm just going to, audio is low, so I'm just going to try and rectify that by turning it up. And seeing if that actually produces any better output. Ooh, no, it doesn't. The output is just basically the same. Hang on. All right. So what I'll do is I'll actually just, if speaking of technical issues, I'll go and sort one of those out right now. So you guys, I'll leave you with the live stream of the ERIS sitting on the pad. So it's just sitting there right now, as you can see quite clearly. I'll go away for a few seconds, and what I'll do is I'll just see if I can improve the audio issues that I'm currently experiencing that I've just been notified about. So thank you very much for that person who let me know, and I'll come back to you guys in just a few minutes. Just give me a sec. I've just got to find out which button I've got to press. Oh, that one. All right, I'll be back soon. Well, there's nothing like a few audio issues to put you on a bit of notice. I'm not sure if that's any better. Please, if you want to make a comment, please feel free to do so. If it's a bit low to you, then please let me know. If it's not loud enough, if it's a bit too low for yourself. But yeah, so I'm trying what I can. I've tried. YouTube is trying to tell me that the stream is not using the right amount of data out. I'm trying to fix everything at once here. I didn't expect to have this many technical issues straight up front, but it's a good idea to actually have them up front, so that way I can improve things as we go. But you look, again, what I'll do is received a few comments. Thank you very much, people, for participating and letting me know that I'm loud and clear. I was still way too quiet. Okay, sounds good for me. G'day, mate. Audio is good. Okay, all right. I've got mixed reviews. Mixed reviews. Welcome to YouTube. Oh boy. Yeah. So what I'll do is I've got one more little issue I'll need to resolve. So what I'll do is I'll just leave you in rocket viewing mode for the moment. I'll take myself off camera and I'll just go and see if I can improve the rate of the stream, just because I believe I'm not using the entirety of the amount. So believe it or not. So yeah, if anybody wants to know where I am, I'm actually sitting in the top of Mount Nut. If anyone wants to go and Google that, please feel free to go do so. Mount Nut is has a water tower on it, and it has a very clear line direct to the rocket. Now, before anybody asks, or before anybody decides to make a comment about it, I can't get any closer. And I literally tried. The first time I came up to Bowen, I did drive around, and I did see if I could get much, much closer. The good thing about this position is I can see the rocket. The bad thing about this position is I can't get any closer. This is as close as I can get. I can get closer. However, if I were to do that in any of the other positions I scouted, then what that meant was you wouldn't see the rocket at all. You just see a lovely line of trees until something happens. But at least this way you actually get to see the rocket standing on the pad, which is always a nice thing to do. All right, so what I'll do is I'll take my break for a second. I'll try to see if I can fix up these stream issues, see if I can make the image a little bit clearer. It's gone super blurry, but that's all right. It's a work in progress, and this is live. Cool. Nothing better than a failure to help you out. Right. So it seems like the the signal has been cut off. So I'm just going to see if I can try and fix that. So basically, this live stream is going to be nothing more than me trying to fix stuff as I go. All right. Let me put you. again, mute you all out, give you a good look at the Elgato, no signal. I don't have a secondary camera because it wasn't working. I hooked everything up and it decided to give me a black screen. Not sure why, but yeah, I think what I might do now is I might see if I can fix the both of these immediately. Otherwise, this stream might have to end and restart again in a few minutes. So have patience. I will return in just a few minutes. Right. So it looks like I'm going to have to reset the camera every now and again. Right. So yeah, every time that happens, I'll put everyone on hold, and then I'll have to reset the camera. I'm sorry. I apologize. All the tests I did, this never happened. Like, I was testing this yesterday, like last night, to make sure that this would all work flawlessly. But anyway, turns out it doesn't. So there we go. All right, so welcome everyone to this live stream of the ERIS Mission 1, or the test flight 1 of the ERIS rocket. This is Gilmour Space's rocket. You can see sitting there on the pad. It is a little bit blurry, unfortunately. That's mainly due to atmospheric distortion, and the autofocus doesn't know where to track. With that. So I did try the manual focus. The manual focus didn't work nearly as well as what I thought, and it kept pulling everything out of focus. So this, unfortunately, is about as close as we're going to get. Right. Okay, so hang on, I just need to breathe for a second. Just a minute. Again, as I said, I'm still sick. But anyway, that's right. That's cool. All right, let me muscle my way through it, and shall continue on regardless. All right, let's try and open this up a little bit now. I do actually have some stuff prepared, and to show you and to bring you along the journey. So again, as I said, I have two cameras. The first one that was set up was okay. The second one that I set up is no longer working. I'm not sure why, and I was troubleshooting it earlier, and I'll continue to troubleshoot and maybe get that. There's a Canon camera I have as well. So the Nikon is the one you currently see at the moment, and I also have a Canon camera. So again, once again, I'm just going to point this out and give a quick acknowledgement to our sponsors, to my sponsor, which is One Giant Leap Australia Foundation. So thank you very much for those guys who have actually helped me with the costs of getting to and from Bowen. This is my third time here chasing this, and I've also partnered with Launch Heaven as well. You can see their watermark on the bottom there, and they're helping me to spread this news right around the world. So I thank you very much to those guys. Thank you very much for your continuing ongoing support, especially One Giant Leap Australia Foundation. I've been speaking a lot with Jackie over the last few weeks. She does an amazing job, and I'll get into some of what One Giant Leap Australia Foundation does. So yes, unfortunately, there will be a sponsorship section because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So yeah, I just want you guys to acknowledge that there's going to be an ad in the middle of this. And yeah, and the other thing is too is that Launch Heaven, they reached out for a collaborative partnership, seeing that I came up here, I think it was on my second attempt, and they have continued to remain with me as well. So we've all got that tenacity and that spirit that we're going to try and bring this to you and in the live stream. And I really appreciate the both of those guys for continuing to stick with me, because I'm trying to bringing this to you and the world, just simply because there's a couple other people up here with various cameras and whatever else. There is a bit of an audience. We're all in our folding chairs waiting for this to happen. Oh, I won't sit back too much, otherwise I disappear off camera. My chair is really low, but anyway, that's all right. That's what I did. I brought one from home, so hang on, let me scoot it forward. There you go. All right, and so there's quite a few people up here waiting for this to happen. So, and general feedback from people on the ground in Bowen, in and around Bowen, has been that everyone is quite keen to see it go. They're also a little bit tired because there's been a few delays. But this is, after all, it is rocket science, and it is actually literally trying to launch something to space. So, yes, there are going to be a number of delays based on this sort of stuff that happen all the time, just simply because of the nature of the beast in regard to all of this. So, let me just get into the next piece here. So, all right, I'm going to talk about on One Giant Leap Australia Foundation. All right, that's their website. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about this. All right, so One Giant Leap Australia Foundation, or One Giant Leap Australia, is our exclusive sponsor for this ERIS launch, and has allowed me to be here today. One Giant Leap Australia Foundation is doing excellent work encouraging kids in the next generation of Australian astronauts, or Aussienauts, encouraging kids towards careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is STEM. One Giant Leap Australia Foundation does this by hosting a number of free events where they can launch rockets, participate in global events with other students around the world, launch wattle seeds to space with JAXA, and hear from NASA and JAXA astronauts who have launched on the shuttle, or have been to the International Space Station, or are still sitting on the International Space Station. They've done that too. One Giant Leap Australia Foundation is proud to be expanding its global footprint as well, bringing their unique blend of STEM education and aerospace management to new international audiences. So this is only just brand new. With the launch of One Giant Leap Middle East, believe it or not, they're deepening their commitment to regional inclusion and creating pathways for students across the globe to connect with the future of space explorations. Their programs are now active in diverse locations, including Johannesburg, where they're actually fostering local talent and building bridges between communities and the global space industry. The international momentum is only accelerating. One Giant Leap Australia will be sharing exciting updates at the IAC in 2025 in Sydney. If you're going, I am too, so I might see you there if you happen to be going. They're going to be doing exciting updates at IAC, where they're expanding their reach and new partnerships will take centre stage. Meanwhile, the contingent of students and educators are preparing to represent programs at the Osaka Expo, which they are about to do. There are also others participating in global events hosted at JAXA's Mission Control. Experiences that reflect our mission to inspire, connect, and empower the next generation of explorers. We've spent years building meaningful global connections to ensure the space workforce of the future reflects a true international collaboration. One Giant Leap is more than a program. It is a movement that brings together students, educators, industry leaders from every corner of the world to inspire and prepare the next generation of explorers. And that comes from Jackie Carpenter, the founder and director of One Giant Leap Australia, and now Middle East. And I also heard, rumour has it, they're going to end up in Japan as well. Anyway, all right. So that's what the One Giant Leap Australia Foundation is doing. Just as a side note, I'm going to show you this. So if you want to go and have a look at their website, this is their website here. Please feel free to do so. There is quite a number of programs there that is presented by One Giant Leap Australia Foundation. But at the same time, there is also this. This is Australia's rover. So this is destined for the moon. It's been created by the ELO2 consortium. This particular rover was selected by the Australian Space Agency to go on a future Artemis mission to the moon. So it's a 20 kilogram robotic prototype, and it's poised to become Australia's first lunar rover. It was unveiled in Adelaide in 2024. And is slated to embark on a mission to the moon in the later half of this decade. Its primary objective will be to collect lunar soil, known as regolith, and this initiative aligns with the broader goals of establishing a sustainable human presence on the moon. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, that comes down to this reason here. The ELO2 consortium is responsible for the construction of the lunar rover, and is jointly led by EPE, Oceania, and Lunar Outpost, Oceania. The consortium includes 10 Australian universities, local space companies such as Innovor Technologies, Sabre Astronautics, and Element robotics, and educational outreach organisations like One Giant Leap Australia. So that's them there. They're included in this massive, massive, massive in this massive, massive consortium that are actually contributing towards putting the rover on the moon. So One Giant Leap Australia Foundation is doing exceptional things, and I've just been told that everything has gone out of focus, and it has a little bit. Whoa, really has. All right, I'll have to get back into fixing that in a second. Oh, wow. Doing all this live is a lot of fun. Anyway, all right. So that's exactly. So if you get a chance, please go and have a look at One Giant Leap Australia Foundation. They are a great bunch of people. I love everything they do. They also kind enough to sponsor me for this, and they've helped me with getting up here to remain in Bowen to capture this launch. Hopefully, this launch later this afternoon. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick pause here for a minute or two. I'm going to see if I can fix these blurry issues because the rocket has disappeared in atmospheric distortion, or could literally be out of focus. One of the two, regardless. I'm going to take a break here for a couple of seconds, and I'm going to see if I can fix this up, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Alrighty, I'm back. Do you miss me? No, you didn't. All right, so yeah, look, I've tried. You may have seen this on the live stream. So I didn't cut anything off. This is about as good as I'm going to get, mainly because of the heat haze that's currently building up at the moment. Um, so it would actually be ideal if they start to do this more towards the early evening. That way, the heat haze will has a chance to calm down. But yeah, this is about as close as I can get. So, and unfortunately, this is all I've got. I've tried over time. I've tried different lenses, different images. I've tried different optics, and yeah, this is for this sort of distance. This is what I can do, what I can get. I'm now considering remote units. However, the problem would be with remote units is that the line of sight, and I'd have to get much closer. And vast majority of the roads around here, to get closer, as I said before, is I'll get a great view of the trees. So, anyway, there's an audience building up here, and there's an audience building online as well. I just thought I'd let everyone know there is the ability to ask questions as well. So I just thought I'd take a few questions before I get into the next one. So you remember that Q&A is open, and it will be open all the time. There is a secondary one for Launch Heaven. Oh, hang on, I should probably go back and actually introduce who Launch Heaven are. So, yeah, let me just say thanks very much also again once more for Launch Heaven Media for the collaboration. Launch Heaven Media, just briefly, is a US-based aerospace videography and photography network dedicated to bringing the world's highest quality content possible. Launch Heaven has partnered with Aussienaut, myself, to live stream the ERIS Test Flight 1 mission. So thanks very much, guys. Again, if you want to go and check them out, please do. They do have some really cool stuff in terms of aviation, photography, and all that sort of stuff. And also, providing I've done everything correct, I should also have their Q&A open as well, which I don't. Hang on just a second. All right, let me just correct some stuff. And what I'll do is I'll bring that up so that way you guys can see that as well. But at the moment, for the moment, while that's all loading and it's all working itself out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if you want to ask some questions, please feel free to do so. Yeah, what I can do is I can show. I'll also take a few moments as well to show you guys around and let you know exactly what this is located near, all that sort of stuff. But at the moment, yeah, I do have a secondary camera here, and unfortunately, as I said before, that is not working. So yeah, I'm just scrolling through. All right, so let me just see. Right, Ryan. We got Severin Fisher saying Ryan. So yes, I can actually do this sort of stuff. I can do some basic stuff. Sometimes I just wonder. We got the angry engineer YouTube. Let's go ERIS. So yes, just remember, guys, that if you're making comments in the chat, then please, I will, or you have any questions or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask. Here's a proper question. So F900EX, any ETA for launch at this stage? No. So let me just explain that a little bit. Let me just explain this a little bit. So Gilmour Space Technologies is, in terms of their launches and what they're trying to do, they're very secretive. So this is as close as I could get. So, and all the roads around they're not closed, but you end up going onto private property, which you can't get any closer because they're all closed off, and they lock the gates. So, and Gilmour Space Technologies has been very, very secretive about most of their stuff, and they haven't been very open about launch times and things like that, which is fine. So, is there any ETA for launch? No, there isn't. What sources I've heard is 1:30 this afternoon, 2 p.m. But however, there's no guarantee that it'll happen at that time. The reason being is because the winds will change, all that sort of stuff, and they may have to cancel the launch. So again, which is why you will notice there is actually no countdown timer or anything like that. I've decided to forgo all that sort of stuff, unlike the high impulse launch that I did last year. Yeah, I've decided to bypass all of that simply because Gilmour Space hasn't been very forthcoming with exactly when they're going to launch, so which is okay. But yeah, it's just one of those things. So which it doesn't mean it's very reliable for you guys. So that should give you a bit of an explanation as to why. Let me just see if I've got any other questions as well. No, there's no visible, Severin Fisher, no visible signs of prop load yet. I can't see anything. There hasn't been any, I haven't seen any gas or anything like that actually coming off the side of the rocket, meaning that the cold liquid propellants are going on board. But however, just to explain that the ERIS rocket over there is actually a hybrid rocket, using hybrid engine technology, the Sirius motors. There's 4 of them, and they use proprietary hybrid rocket engine. No idea what's on it, but however, it's as we can imagine with a hybrid engine, it uses a solid, and then there's some sort of liquid oxidizer or something like that. Not liquid oxygen or anything like that. I think it might be something else entirely. You can take a guess. If you guess, you want to take a guess, you probably know more than me, just simply because, again, they're not very forthcoming with exactly what they've got on board. I do know that on the second stage, that is also a hybrid motor as well. And the third stage, which is the last and final stage, which you can see poking over the top of the trees there, that one is actually going to be a biprop motor. But we'll get into that in a little bit later. All right. Yeah. Whee! That was a lot of fun. All right. Turn off your Nikon autofocus setting to fixed focus center of if you don't need an ISO. Yeah, okay, Jeff. Yep, I did try that, and it didn't work. It just went through and tried to manual focus using it's not a Nikon. It is a Nikon, but what I was doing was using the ring around the outside, and it was getting much worse rather than getting better. So yeah, I did actually try all that sort of stuff. You may have seen it get much worse than that. Much worse than that during that particular point in time. Now, let me just have a look. I've got to see about other things here. Let me have a look. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Rather than listening to me going and I'm going to put you again on silent. You get to see the launch pad all by itself, and then I'll come back and we'll do some more Q&A. All right, you can see me operating in the background there. I didn't realize what I had done. All right, let's see. All right. Someone buy this guy a drone. Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah. So yeah, I can't actually buy it. I've got a drone. I was considering bringing a drone. But the problem is that at the moment there'd be a NOTAM, and NOTAM means that as soon as I put that up in the air and try and get in closer, what will happen is it means I'll violate that NOTAM, and they can't launch. So yeah, that's the unfortunate downside. And for anybody who actually wants to know what's going on and where their answers are coming from, this is from their Launch Heaven audience. So g'day guys, welcome to Australia. Strap in, you're in for a hell of a ride. Oh, so sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. Yep. So, all right. What are we going? Is hydrogen peroxide explosive? Well, I don't know. You tell me. I do know it's very corrosive though. It only has a shelf life of around about 2.5 years. I know they used it on the Soyuz missions and one of the Soyuz craft, and that was one of the problems they were having with it when it was sitting on the International Space Station for more than 2 years. It was the degradation of the fuel. So it's not exactly a very safe way to store it. Hang on, Oliver the Space Nerd. I didn't know Australia had trees. Well, it does. By the way, I will probably it's a good idea for me I'll get to I'll get to this in a second. All right. What I'll do is I'll pan back in a second once we get through a few more of these questions. I just noticed there's a few flowing questions coming in. So thank you very much, Launch Heaven crew, for the people who are watching through you guys. Yeah, I am actually going to. Ask you guys can ask questions and all that sort of stuff, and I'll be able to answer them. So you can actually answer them. I've already answered this one, by the way. Dallin SG, when is launch? T minus 1:30 p.m. today, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We believe. Again, we don't have any accurate details of exactly when that will happen. So that's why there is no countdown timer or anything on here. So I've already answered that one previously. Is this camera view inverted? No, it's not. This is actually the camera view at the moment. That's exactly what it looks like. So, so basically, have a P1000. Try using manual focus on the body, then manually switching the lens itself. Yeah, maybe that's the way I do it. All right. And I might try that as well. So which is that one there? I've got so for Brad Griffin, if you want to know, I've got the P1100. So I've got the new version. It is literally for me, take it off the shelf, point it at something, so that way I can use it. So, yes, thank you for all of the advice. Yes, I will try manually focusing on the lens itself. Try using the manual focus switch on the body. All right, so now the camera is actually in the sunshine, so this is going to be very, very interesting. But again, what I'm going to need to do at the moment is I'll put you back on just the launch pad. That's enough questions and answers for now, because I need to start to move things into the shade and see if I can put up my own personal shade, which I brought with me. So, all right. So, guys, again, enjoy the view of the launch pad, and hopefully something may happen soon. All right. I thought I'd take advantage of the cameras being knocked out of position. Not sure how that happened. No one touched it, and now everything's a little bit different. All right, so I'm not going to put myself on camera for this one because if I do, then you guys will miss the point. All right, so if I zoom back out, I'll just show you exactly where I am. So yes, that's the corner of the gazebo I'm under at the moment, and in front of me is a tree, of course, and in front of that is farmland. The main export out of Bowen is actually mangoes, believe it or not. The Bowen mango is actually something that the region is very famous for. So, and that's something that that is very, very, they're very delicious. I don't like mangoes, but yeah, apparently people tell me that they like mangoes. Anyway, so just to give you a bit of an orientation of around where we are, that's the edge of the gazebo. I'm just going to try and zoom in. And if you see over this way, because I locked everything down because everything was wobbling so much, I can't move anything. All right. So, yep, that's roughly what it looks like over that side. And so over here is where the rocket is launching from. Should be somewhere in there. All right, so with any luck, I should be able to zoom straight in and see the rocket, but I can't. But anyway, that's all right. I need to realign this, find the rocket again, realign this, but yes. So Bowen is, so what you're looking at is where I'm transmitting from is top of the hill, across farmland over to the rocket, which is in the distance. So I'll go back to being quiet, and then basically you guys can, I'll find the rocket again, and then I'll focus mainly on the rocket. All right, I'm back. It took me a little while to refine the rocket. Apologies about that. But yeah, unless the sun's on it, I can't really see it. But anyway, that's all right. That's all right. I've got a whole bunch of people up here on the hill who are helping me out with with everything. They're making fun of me at the same time, which is fantastic. There's nothing like a little bit of community on the hill community. That's what we've got. They're trying to remain as quiet as possible, but laughing, which is always fun. All right. Okay, so I'm not sure if anybody has seen anything that's going on. I'm just trying to see whether or not there is. Okay, I'm getting requests. I'm getting direct requests all the time from various people, including time estimate on the screen. We have a lot of people asking. Well, no, so yes, I understand that you guys need a time estimate, but however, Gilmour Space doesn't actually have a time estimate of exactly when it's going to happen. They keep it's very opaque as to exactly whether or not they're going to launch today. They keep that sort of information to themselves. They don't exactly provide it. So there's no point me putting in a timer to actually only to reset it multiple times. So that's why I've decided to forgo the timer and actually just stick to just streaming this as it is. All right, let me just have a look around here. All right, so if we go and have a look at the Q&A, I believe there's some Q&A that's happened here, so I'll just call that up. Let's have a look. All right. I think clearing the pad. Ooh, I like that one. So we got Aussienaut AU. I think clearing the pad will be 75% stage separation, 25% stage separation, 25% orbit, less than 5%. Ooh, I agree with you. And that's being honest. By the way, nice little symbol you've got there. Interesting. I wonder where you got that from. That worldview with Australia. I think that might be mine. Anyway, that's right. That's all right. One Giant Leap Australia, Kate Cleveland and Maggie are further north, likely. Oh, right. That's responding to someone else's question. So let me just scroll back here and see if I can find some questions that I can go through. What do you think the chances are of reaching orbit for this first attempt? That was the initial question. You answered it yourself. That's okay, because I did take a little while to get to you. I apologize for that. So yeah, completely understandable, because I'm trying to manage everything here. All right, so it's been public information that that they're only expecting to get 30 seconds out of this rocket in its entirety. However, we're just not sure whether or not that'll make. Hopefully, there's two things here. One, from the moment they light the engines to the moment it gets to orbit is all a risk, and it can blow up anywhere along that orbital trajectory, or along that trajectory. There's no TAM issued for that particular path, and so which means that it can explode anywhere from the moment it switches its engines on, which is normal for rocketry, because it's everything is untried and untested until you actually switch everything on and attempt to go to orbit. Once you attempt to go to orbit, then basically it's hope for the best. And it could, and if they're saying that they're not statistically, if they're saying that they're only going to get 30 seconds out of it, well, that means it should clear the pad and will go out towards the reef, and then basically it will probably, I'm not sure what will happen after that point, where they don't say whether or not it will explode. They don't say if they need to use the flight termination system or what needs to happen at that point. But yeah, it's they're only expecting that there will be about 30 seconds worth of flight time in its entirety. So yeah, that's published and that's been put out there. So which is fine. So but because literally it is rocket science. All right, let's have a look. What are the islands in the... One Giant Leap Australia. Oh, look. Welcome to my sponsor. Hi. All right. Welcome to the sponsor. What are the islands in the distance? Cape Cleveland, Magnetic, or those too far out? Gloucester Island is to your south, isn't it? You know what? I haven't actually looked. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I haven't looked, haven't thought to have a look yet either. But yeah, that's there are a number of islands out there. But the main concern for me is the Great Barrier Reef. However, they do part of their NOTAM and all that sort of stuff, and their trajectory they're looking at. They're looking to pass between. There's a gap in the reef out there, and they're looking to pass in that gap. So hopefully, within your luck, it doesn't stray too far from that that particular trajectory, and they're able to nail it and not dump anything on the World Heritage listed Great Barrier Reef. All right. Let's have a look. Just seeing if there's any more questions here that I could possibly answer. People are bored. They want to do tic-tac-toe. people are telling me how to position the camera. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I didn't get to read any of those, but yes, I was getting to that point. Excuse me. Oh, anyway, I wish the sickness would get colder. Yeah, it was a really good game. Hotter, colder. There was a lot of, and I'm sorry, I don't like mangoes. I really don't. Who doesn't like mangoes? Criminal. Yeah, I don't like mangoes. I can't explain it. I just don't like mangoes. I like mangoes in other stuff mixed with other fruit. That's okay. It's part of a tropical fruit smoothie. That's great. However, by themselves, gross. They really gross me out. All right, it could be the sliminess. It could be the fact that they're too oversweet. I think I'm digging a hole that I can't possibly get out of. I think I might let that go. All right. Let's see if I've got anything that's a little bit more entertaining rather than me just answering questions about mangoes and pointing out people who are saying you left, right, up, down, or whatever else. Yeah, excited. Great shot, by the way. All right, thank you very much, Jade. I know it's you. I know you're there. And yes, I'm bringing this to everyone live while sick. But anyway, that's all right. That's a different story. We already know that. I said it at the top. I'm going to say it again. All right, we're going to go through a little bit of history of Gilmour Space. I figure that's about time. So let's just have a look. All right. So Gilmour Space Technologies. Okay. Gilmour Space Technologies was founded in 2012 in Singapore by former bankers Adam and James Gilmour. So yeah, if you wanted to know what Adam and James did before they got into the wonderful world of rocketry, yeah, they were working in banks. So it's a very, very weird place to go. But anyway, that's fine. In 2013, the company embarked on an inaugural project, the design and manufacture of high-fidelity space flight simulators and replicas. These were created for various space-related exhibits, including the Space Flight Academy on the Gold Coast. And this is some of the stuff they had there. It was part of the Gold Coast Space Flight Academy. So basically what happened was in 2015, Gilmour Space Technologies pivoted to developing rockets, moving away from the Space Flight Academy. On the 22nd of July, 2016, Gilmour Space launched Raster, a suborbital sounding rocket. It was the company's first launch vehicle and the world's first demonstration of a rocket using 3D printed fuel, propelled by a proprietary hybrid rocket engine. You'll hear that a few times. And then Raster performed nominally during his test flight, reaching an apogee of 5 kilometers. And there is no audio for this. All right, so that was Raster. You can imagine the rocket sounds, I'm pretty sure. All right, so after Raster came the 9 meter long Vision 1 rocket, which was designed with the main objective to flight test the hybrid rocket engine for commercial orbital launches starting in 2020. One Vision's maiden flight was a test flight on 29th of July 2019, ended prematurely due to an anomaly. During the launch countdown, a pressure regulator in the oxidizer tank failed to maintain the required pressure, damaging the tank. following a detailed investigation, the company implemented 15 key recommendations into the design of ERIS. Additionally, for the One Vision launch campaign, a mobile rocket launch platform was designed, built, and successfully tested, addressing the lack of commercial Australian launch sites at the time. So, yes, at that time in 2019, there wasn't so many launch sites. I do know that Southern Launch was also in pursuing a launch site as well, and they're in South Australia. So, you may want to refer to some of my previous YouTube videos where I actually did that, did the high impulse launch, which was in 2024 in May. All right. Since the where are we? Where did I get up to? All right. It was a little time after this. That's the bit I'm missing. It was a little time after this in 2019 that I actually did an interview with Adam directly, and basically regarding the Vision rocket and the next generation ERIS orbital rocket. And I'll give you a bit of a preview of what that was.
So Adam, why did you leave the banking industry to come and start your own rocket company? It's 2012. Why?
Because I saw an opportunity and I spent enough time in banking. I've always loved space, and from a business point of view, I saw a massive opportunity. I thought the industry was going to pick up, and I saw that there was a real slow demand or slow ability of people to get to space. Like there wasn't a lot of rocket companies. Everybody.
So yeah, that's me with Adam Gilmour. So if you want to go and have a look at that, it's actually on my YouTube channel. Please go and feel free to look at that. It's very in depth. Back in my early days of known as under joshkeegan.com, that was way back when, before I pivoted to become Aussienaut. I did reiterate as the Space Down Under for a little while there, but there's now Aussienaut definitely. All right, let's talk about Block 1. All right, ERIS rocket. So since the untimely demise of the Vision 1, Gilmour Space Technologies has moved on to ERIS. The ERIS Block 1 is a 3-stage small-live vehicle designed to launch up to 300 kilos of payload to low Earth orbit. The vehicle is known to have 4 of Gilmour's Sirius hybrid rocket motors propelling the first stage, another Sirius motor in the second stage, and a new Phoenix liquid rocket engine in its third stage. That was the testing of the Phoenix liquid rocket engine. So ERIS has a total height of 25 meters and diameter of 2 meters for the first stage, which tapers into the interstage. And so first and second stage of, 25 meters, 2 meters for the first stage, which tapers to the interstage of the first and second stage, which comes down to about 1.5 meters. The payload fairing has a 2 meter diameter version. It's either 1.5 or 1.2. Oh, hang on. The payload fairing has 2 diameter versions. Sorry. Apologize. I said that the wrong way around. 2 diameter versions, either 1.5 or 1.2. So Gilmour Space plans to introduce the ERIS Block 2 vehicle for commercial service in 2026, which will be capable of delivering payloads up to 1,000 kilos into low Earth orbit. The company also announced future plans for an ERIS heavy variant designed to lift 4,000 kilos of payload into orbit. If developed, the ERIS Heavy would be categorized as a medium lift launch vehicle, potentially supporting human-rated spacecraft. All right, that's what it looks like. So it's actually it looks substantially different from what you can see there on the pad. So just keep that in mind. All right, now we get into the next bit of this. So unfortunately, there have been 6 distinct delays to the ERIS launch of the rocket, and I've listed them there. Now, this is not to say that anything has gone wrong. This is just to say that this is how many times they've tried, and so which has landed us right here today. So the 15th of March, there was a tropical cyclone Alfred, and they had regulatory issues. So there was a cyclone which went through Brisbane. I was impacted by that personally, and they also had a couple of regulatory issues then. At 15th of May, there was a ground support system issue. Yes, there's a famous picture of a cockatoo chewing through the wires. No, that was not the case. They admitted to that a few days later. The cockatoo was a joke. 16th of May was a payload fairing issue. We all know exactly what happened with the payload fairing. It just seemed to have... one of the things was it wasn't fastened tight enough or something like that. It fell off, but that's okay. They were managed to get the second payload fairing up here within less than 24 hours. So that was massive win for them. The 1st of July was a weather-related delay. 3rd of July was a postponement for a more flexible launch window. Then the 16th, 17th, which I was here for, the last one for, was the upper level winds. Okay, so after all of that, after all of these massive, well, not massive amount of delays, after these few delays this year, the launch license was only approved in November of last year. So this is right on time for any rocket company to actually get their rocket to orbit. So for this first payload, though, for this launch and for the first test launch, ERIS will be using a payload mass simulator for this launch, and this will be the most iconic and Australian item ever yeeted into orbit. A jar of Vegemite. Oh, sorry. I just think that's funny. Two things that are funny. One, that they're launching a jar of Vegemite. I just think that's a great payload simulator. And two, I just said yeeted. Oh yeah. There's nothing else to explain there. It's cringe. And I'm doing this because I know my daughters will watch this at some point and will go off at me for it. So I'm getting my revenge early before they've even watched anything because they're currently in school right now. All right, so the Bowen Orbital Spaceport. Let's have a look at that. So the Bowen Orbital Spaceport, which you can see on the camera over there, you can see the top of the rocket. The Bowen Orbital Spaceport is located at Abbott Point State Development Area in Queensland, Australia, and there it is on the map. The reason why Abbott Point and to the north of Bowen Township was chosen is because it is sparsely populated and sparsely, compared to everywhere else in Australia, all that sort of stuff. Yes, only 11,109 residents. So yes, compared to other areas, yes, it is sparsely populated. Existing industrial site, there's where a launch pad has been built. It takes advantage of proximity to the equator, which is why it's nice and warm up here. I don't have to wear any jumpers or anything. I know people back in Brisbane are freezing, so I'm sorry. It takes advantage of the proximity to the equator, not only because it's warm, but they allow the rocket to pick up a speed with the Earth's rotation. Gilmour Space was granted permission in May 2021 by the Queensland Government to commence construction of an orbital launch facility within the Abbott Point development area. This is followed an environmental approval and a technical study over Abbott Point in Bowen. On the 5th of March 2024, BOSS was established. That's the Bowen Orbital Spaceport. As established as Australia's inaugural commercial orbital spaceport, following final approvals from the federal government and the Australian Space Agency. The maiden flight of ERIS-1, also Australia's first orbital launch vehicle, was initially slated for later in 2024. And just to give you guys an idea, that's what the NOTAM looks like at the moment. So as you can see, it's only a very narrow corridor. So that's what they're hoping to achieve with that very narrow corridor, which as you can see, there's quite a bit of air traffic and everything that goes around that. So there it is. That's the ERIS rocket being raised on the pad. No, that's not my photo. No, I haven't been that close to the actual rocket, but there it is being raised on the pad. One of the times that they were raising on the pad. So one of their staff members took that particular photo. So there you go. That's just a little bit of the history of Gilmour and Gilmour Space and the history of the ERIS rocket. So what I'll do is I'll leave you guys with a view of the launch pad. I'll see if I can fix up the focus and see if I can make it a little less blurry because we've got, as you can see, you've got massive amounts of atmospheric distortion. And I'll come back to you guys again in a minute. And I'm back again. All right. So I've decided to focus on a question, provided I've actually got the right questions and answers. Hang on, just give me a second. No. There it goes. Is Rory Shields, is Gilmour doing an official stream as well? The answer to that, quite simply, is no. They've said several times that they're not actually going to do, they still are a startup company, and they are going to not do their own official live stream. Because if that were the case, then I'd be restreaming their stream, and you'd be getting much better pictures than you're getting much better pictures than this. It'd be that simple, just simply because, they'd be much closer. So no, unfortunately, no, they're not doing that at all. And so what you've got here is me doing this, and unfortunately, I have tried several times to do the switch off the autofocus and put it on the manual focus, and I'm not having any luck correcting that. So that's just to let everyone know that this is why. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to be anything like that. But I am trying, based on your advice, to try and do things a little bit differently. Try manual focus switch on the body. All right, so then there's this, which is over here. So I manual focus switch on the body, and then the focus using the lens itself. Brad, I tried that several times, so I'm just not sure why it's this bad. And the camera keeps pushing itself out of position, but now we're getting a lot of atmospheric distortion and heat haze. I'm nice and cool under my shade here, you can see, but now we're getting a lot of heat haze as well. That's actually interfering with the clarity of the image that's coming through. So yes. Excuse me. Apologize for that. I didn't mean to do that on air. I should have muted. So you didn't have to go. You guys didn't have to listen to me cough. But so this is the problems I'm currently I have at the moment. All right. So what I'll do is I'll leave you guys with it. I'll leave you with it so that way you can see the rocket on the launch pad. At the moment, we're none of us here. There is a larger audience now. There's quite a few people actually standing around at the base of this water tower who are all here to view the launch. I turned the camera around, but again, I'm just going to let everyone know that unfortunately the Australian Privacy Act actually prevents me from doing that, because I'd need to obtain specific permission from everyone here to actually, before I could put their image on camera. So that's why I'm the only one on camera. So the Privacy Act, the Australian Privacy Act actually restricts me from doing that. So just thought I'd give you a little technical thing there. All right, let's have a look. I'm just going to switch chats. Let's see. Is there any other questions? Heat haze is going to distort anything. Yeah, I know. I understand. Rory. Heat haze is going to distort everything. It is really, really badly. It's really local bone Facebook page is saying cancelled again. Local bone. Okay, so all right. Officially, you need to go and have a look at. I've already done this one before, and that is you need to check out the Gilmour Space Facebook page. They're the ones who on their website it actually says that if any updates, there'll be the website and their Facebook page that will give you updates as to whether or not the rocket is going or not. If it's been stood down, then we will find out. But it would only through the Facebook page. That's the only way to find out. So I'm checking everything at the moment. So I've got notifications, alerts on my phone. Notifications, alerts on my phone. I have people wishing me luck. I have people who've tried to call me. I've got WhatsApp open, and I've got people asking for time settings. I've got another person who is also live streaming, restreaming my stream. Oh, and I'm just going to give a quick shout out for so Cristiano Brandeo. So thanks, man. He has done a really good job, and he's doing some animations and stuff like that. He is known as, I can't remember what he's known as. Oh my God. That's terrible. That's terrible. I can't remember what he's known as. Astro Animator VFX. That's him. Astro Animator VFX. So Cristiano Brandeo, he is a fantastic guy. I met him in South Australia, and what he's doing for me is he's taking my live stream and he is translating everything out for the Brazilian audience. So hi guys, welcome to the live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully, not too many of my Australianisms upsetting Cristiano, but hopefully with any luck, he's he's a very dignified professional, and he's doing a really. I've seen his stuff before, and he does a really excellent job. He's been part of my live streams and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I really appreciate you, Cristiano, for continuing to do so. And just on a side note, quick side note, the man got married recently, so he's returned from his honeymoon, and one of the first things he's done is said, "Hey, look, I am willing to restream your stream, and we're going to do that for you. So you get out to the Brazilian audience, and they actually are covered. So yeah, I was just saying about that. While I'm on the topic of that, so I'm just going to say at the moment that you may see some other restreams out there and stuff like that. Some of them are authorized, some of them are not. So just be very, very aware that some of the restreams, it's like I've given approvals for certain other people to do that. I would have a list, but I've got to bring it with me. But yeah, I would. Just be aware that not every restream that is out there is I've fully approved and endorsed and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to I've been going for 1 hour and 30 minutes again. So I'm going to take another little break. The secondary camera I had here was the Canon 600D with a 500 millimeter telephoto lens that decided not to work today. So I've put that away. I've got a few other bits of equipment and stuff like that I need to put away. There's more people arriving all the time. So I just need to, you can see them in the background. There they are. There you go. They're ducking underneath the... And they're not all here for me. They're here for the rocket launch. So hopefully with any luck, they'll... I can't even remember what I was saying. All right, I'm going to take a break for a second. I'll leave you guys with the launch pad. I'll see if I can clear up the image again. I am persisting. I am trying to keep this as clear as possible, but I don't like the odds or anything of that. But at the moment, we've got around about 30 minutes, I think, before anything happens. But again, I'm not seeing any prop load. I'm not seeing any clouds. I'm not seeing anything at the moment. So I just keep checking everything to make sure it's not cancelled. So give me a second. I'll leave you with the launch, and then I'll come back. Alrighty, I'm back. So, in a display of confidence in regard to whether or not anything's going to happen, yeah, the local constabulary has decided to appear. So the police are here. So, is that a vote of confidence that something's going to happen? I hope so. So yeah, I'm not sure if if it means that they're definitely going to launch or what's going to happen. But yeah, look, if they've shown up, then it's obviously I'm taking it as a good sign that something positive might happen and happen very shortly. So yeah, because otherwise the police wouldn't be here for any reason, for no reason at all. So yes. 1 hour and 38 minutes into it, it looks like it's around about 22 minutes until there might be a bit of a, there might be, if it goes at 1:30, if that happens, if it starts to look like the things are being loaded, if it starts to look like it might go, then basically what I'll do is I'll abandon actually making any sort of comment, and I'll step to one side and control the camera. I would like to try and do that at the same time. I could try and do both at the same time, but previous experience actually tells me that no, don't focus on one thing at a time and hope for the best. All right, so no further questions coming in at the moment. So the reports are the local talker here. There's around about 50, I'd say 50 or so people up here now, maybe a few more. The local conversation is that it should be happening at around about 1:30, if not 2 p.m. But again, I haven't seen anything at the moment that actually indicates otherwise, that's been stood down or anything like that. I'm just going to check all my socials once more, see if I've got anything. No, it's still happening. Afternoon, still indicating afternoon. So there's been no updates to any of that. So I just need to, yeah, I'm going to continue to live stream for the moment until we get the official stand down. And there's a whole bunch of people here who are helping me as well, who decide to pitch in and help out Aussienaut with all of this sort of stuff. And so yeah, they might actually let me know if there's an announcement on social media. All right, so. Yeah, once again, I'm just going to thank you very much to the sponsor, One Giant Leap Australia Foundation, for helping to support me for this. And again, to the guys at Launch Heaven Media, thank you guys for continuing to support me. Yes, unfortunately, I'm sorry I didn't give you what you were looking for and countdown timers and all that sort of stuff. But yes, I am just... yeah, it couldn't because I'm not sure if they'll go at that particular point in time or they'll go a little bit later. So I'll soon see whether or not that any of that becomes true. All right. I'm just having a look through everything at the moment and making sure everything's in excellent condition. Starlink is Starlinking. Good God. Everything is working fine. So yeah, I'm in the prime position, despite the haze and everything that's out there. If the rocket decides to go, I'll pan out, and then what I'll do is I will see if I can get a good view of the rocket as it goes up. So and what will happen? So I'm not noticing anything on either of the cameras. I'm not noticing anything personally about. Hang on, I'm getting a warning. Oh no, that was earlier. Okay, that's cool. All right, I'm not getting the warning anymore. That's good. Sorry, I was looking at something else that just said I had a warning. All right, I'm still looking at all this, looking at everything. Again, I'm going to go back to the camera once more. I'll see if I can get it to. Yeah, it goes completely out of focus. That's terrible. I understand you guys. I understand your frustration with this. I'm equally frustrated as well. I would have loved to have been a lot closer, so that way I could bring you something sharp and clear. But however, this is what I've got at the moment. So yeah, and I'm sitting under a bit of shade, so that way things don't overheat. However, I'm checking feeling the temperature of everything. Everything is starting to overheat anyway, so I'm just not sure. This camera here is the one that's the main concern because it's actually sitting in the sun. So, all right, I might make some adjustments, go off air once more, make some adjustments. I'll come back in just a second. Never mind. Let me fix up the cameras again. All right, back. You're right. It's auto power off. Apparently, was what happened with that particular time. That time. So I've had to move things around a little bit, so you get to see me a little bit more up close and personal than you normally would. Apologize. So yeah, I had to get a little bit closer because the camera was sitting in the sun. So I've moved it so it's in a bit of the shade under the gazebo. And yeah, so it's very interesting that the moment that there is so much atmospheric distortion that I can't actually get a clear picture anymore. It just seems to be fading in and out all the time. So, all right. The trials and tribulations of being a YouTuber. It's lots of fun. I mean that not at all. All right, let's have a look. T minus 12. Okay, what's a T minus? 13 minutes-ish. Okay, T 12:30. All right. Koala's eating the cable again. No, I don't think so. But yeah. All right, let's have a look. All right. All right. Let's have a look. Hell yeah, I'm at school, so I don't know if I'll catch the launch. Well done, Tetranaut. All right, remember, stay in school. This is going to kind of be cool, but stay in school. And sorry, look, and you can look back in my live stream afterwards and decide whether or not it was actually good or not. History will always be the judge of these things. Yeah, so will you be able to track the rocket with the camera as it launches? The question is, get Big Betty's gaming. Hopefully, it'll be manually tracked, so I'll need to track it myself. But I am sitting under a gazebo, so what I might need to do is do some careful maneuvering in a second to see whether or not I can get the camera a little bit out from underneath the gazebo to see if I can track it as it goes up. All right, police are going away now, which I'm not sure if that shows a confidence or nothing is going to happen. Hang on, let me check. Series of checking. Sorry. Someone sent me an amusing joke. I'm just laughing about it on air. That was stupid. All right. Shout out to the people I work with. Again, I'll say shout out to, there's a couple of people I want to have a shout out to that I normally work with. My colleagues, Bo Deegan. Thanks, man. Appreciate your support as always for this sort of stuff. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Also, Mr. Nick Clifford, thank you once more. I know you cyberstalk me on this sort of stuff, so thank you once again for this. And again, for my team, Kelly, Jade, and Moses, and Lyndall, and Suzanne, and all those guys. I've forgotten half the names, just because not because I've forgotten the names. It's just because I'm put on the spot. I'm trying to thank people that I work with. So, all right, thank you guys for supporting me for doing this. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to you guys for. I do have a normal job. So there's on the last stream when I did the high impulse launch, I'll say it again for this one, that I actually have a normal job and I need to seek permission to do this sort of stuff. And unfortunately, where I work, they're very, very supportive of what I do. So I appreciate you guys and all the support that you give me to allow me to do this. All right, so let's have what I'll do is I'll actually just go back to a view of just the launch. What I'll do is I'll mute myself once more. The reason why I'm going to do that is because it might all about to happen in the next 9 minutes or so, and I want to see if I can actually track the rocket as we go. So, all right, I'm going back to do that. I'll need to change things over, but I'm just talking to myself now. All right, I'll be back soon. All right. So, all right. It looks like it's going to be another 50 minutes until anything happens. So we're getting all sorts of rumors up here at the moment. There is now more than 50 people. There's about 100, I'd say. I would turn the camera, but no, can't do that because of the whole Privacy Act thing. All right. So yeah, so this is what it is at the moment. It looks like it might happen in the next 50 minutes or so. So in other words, it can launch anytime between now and the next 50 minutes. So, which from 1:30. So, yeah, at the moment that's what it's looking like. So, atmospheric distortion, as everyone can see, is running riot. Nothing's clear. There's a blurry thing in the distance. We hope it's a rocket. I hope it's a rocket. Again, we still haven't heard any stand down or anything like that. There's nothing on Facebook or anything else that says any different. In regard to autofocus, I had the suggestion that if the rocket is in the center, then the autofocus we should be able to pick it up. At the moment, that's not working because it doesn't know what to pick up on because it can't actually see it. Because getting it to the center is really, really hard to do, considering I'm zoomed in this much. So that's the unfortunate downside to all of this. I have a lot of people who are watching, and I've receiving suggestions now for zooming out a little bit, which I might do, and then see if I can get a bit of clearer image, even though the rocket may be a little speck in the distance. So, give me another few moments. I'm going to try again, and again, as I said, there's more than 50 people here now. There's actually I'd say more than 100, and there is and the police have come back, which is also a vote of confidence. So let me go and try and fix this again, and I'll see if I can get you a better image. And I'm back. All right. So yeah, I've zoomed out a little bit. The autofocus seems to be a little bit better. The rocket in the distance. It's not. So okay. So in the background, Austin Smith is there. So Austin, thank you very much for the updates and that sort of stuff. If anyone who wants to know, Austin Smith is the head of Launch Heaven Media. So apologies, Austin, for getting it wrong straight off the bat again. So Launch Heaven Media. So thank you very much for those tips. It gets a little bit better, and then it gets a little bit worse, and it's pretty much because of the atmospheric distortion. There's not much I can do about it. So at the moment, it looks like. It's the NOTAM is now active. I've just had an update that the NOTAM went active at 1:30. It can happen anytime between now and 5:30 this afternoon. So basically, all we can do is be prepared for it to happen. It can happen at any stage. So yes, I'm going to go back to if anyone has any questions on the live stream. So yeah, everyone keeps saying disable the autofocus. Yes, I've tried that, but I can't focus it in because it doesn't actually do that. So I might try again just to prove a point. But yeah, I'm not actually getting increase the f-stop. Okay. Drop the shutter speed. Are you right? TJ Cooney. All right, cool. You get Jack down here to set up a camera. Yeah, thank you. The Random Radish. Thank you very much, the Random Radish. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for that. I have tried multiple times. I've already tried disabling the autofocus, and manual's even worse. So yes, this is as good as I can get. So I will need to zoom back again to see if I can get it to clear up, and that means the rocket will actually be just nothing more than the speck in the background. Again, the amount of people that are coming up here to Mount Nut is increased again. Oop, hang on, don't sit backwards, Josh. No one can see you. Yeah, the amount of people has increased. There's quite a substantial crowd up here now that are in the background, and I'm getting updates from all sorts of people who are helping, keeping me informed at this particular point in time. So yeah, just to let you know that yeah, someone that I'm getting updates as we go through. So I'm getting that mainly from the crowd who's gathered up here, because they're all interested to know what the hell am I doing up here. And sometimes I just wonder, yeah, what am I doing up here? But anyway, that's right. I'm live streaming this, and I'm live streaming this for everyone. So yeah, it's just one of those moments you have, one of those self-actualization moments. Probably a little bit too deep for a YouTube channel, but self-actualization moments is like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? No, I'm here because you guys want me to be here. I'm here because I love rockets. I love the Australian space industry, which is why Aussienaut exists, because I'm the one who is here doing the live stream. Aussienaut is literally dedicated to the Australian space industry, because the Australian space industry is where Aussienauts are born. Believe it or not. So yes, I am fly. Sorry, I had a fly on the microphone. All right, so yeah, the Australian space industry are where all our Aussienauts are born. So yes, and again, once more, coming right back, I'll just say that thank you again to One Giant Leap Australia Foundation for the support for getting me up here. I do know that, g'day Jackie, I know you're watching. Thank you, and thank you very much for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. I do know that Cristiano Bendeo is Astro Animator VFX, who's retranslating or restreaming this to the Brazilian audience and translating everything as we go. And also Launch Heaven Media, which Austin Smith is the CEO of. He's advising me as well. Because the launch window has opened, or the NOTAM is now active between 1:30 and 5:30 this afternoon. So anywhere within that 4-hour window. Again, I have nowhere better to be. I'm here to actually do this and make sure that I'm bringing this to everyone. So I am not going anywhere. I'm going to be here until it goes. And whether or not something happens, it'll be excitement guaranteed, as always, to use someone else's return of phrase. So yeah, just to keep that in mind, that this will be very, very interesting, and we will see exactly what happens from here. But however, whatever happens, it'll be exciting, it'll be interesting, and you'll get to see it. That'll be the best part. We'll with a 15-second delay, but that's all right. Yeah, just to let you guys know that we're still waiting for everything to go. We're waiting for a clear indication from PAD that something is going to happen. However, 215 is looking like that's being bandied about now. That might be the time that it's going to launch. So basically, all I'm going to do is just continue to sit here and live stream this until such time that something actually happens, or they stand down. One of the two. All right, let me have a look. All right. Yes. The launch window open until 5:30 p.m. AEST. Gilmour have posted on their Facebook pages to say there will be no further updates. Right, so this is it. So they must be focused on actually sending the thing. So this will be interesting. Maybe I've got to put up this comment. It's hilarious. Maybe ERIS is like Sasquatch, naturally blurry. Well, hopefully not. It's not. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's see how it is. Let's see how it is, and let's see how it goes. Hello from America. Thanks for setting this up. Go Australia. All right, thank you for that, Tropic Texan. I appreciate it. And anyone else who's joining me from here, please, thank you very much. Obviously, good luck to the team. From Jacqueline Carpenter. Is that Jackie? Interesting. Very similar name. It's not Jackie. Yeah, so very good luck to the team at Gilmour Space. We'll see exactly what happens. Just remember, guys, this is rocket science. It is literally rocket science. So the intent or the aim of this is that regardless of what happens, if it makes it, great. If it doesn't, it still doesn't matter, because this is an achievement for Australia. This is an achievement for our industry, for the Australian space industry. This is an achievement for Gilmour Space Technologies and for their team. So even if it goes up and it lasts a few seconds, then basically that's still a win, because what that means is that that they're able to learn from their mistakes. So as you know, these things are festooned with sensors and whatever else, and they'll be able to gather all that data, learn what happened, and then be able to go, okay, cool, we know what happened. Now we can actually go through and correct for those mistakes, for those things for the next launch attempt. Now I believe they do have additional hardware that is ready to go. I have seen posts on social media and things like that. They're actually displaying their additional hardware, and believe it or not, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was there at touring their rocket factory. I think it was last week or the week before, and they've recently acquired a new $5 million in terms of additional funding to support the ERIS launch, or the launch of ERIS and the subsequent rockets and things like that. So there is that support at the very, very, very high level, including Australia's very own Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. All right, so I'm going to go quiet again for a minute or two. Again, I'm going to try and follow some instructions that people are giving me to try and fix the view so it's a little bit less blurry, and then I'll come back very, very shortly. All right, welcome back. I've tried to. Oh, hang on. Image is kind of much better. There we go. All right, some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. All right, welcome back. I've come back to have a chat to you guys once more. Yeah, the general consensus around me is there is some sort of optical stabilizer in the actual lens, and the lens is what actually keeps pulling things down and around and all that sort of stuff because it wants to automatically focus on things that are closer because it's something I have no idea why, but anyway, yeah, because the trees are closer, the rocket is further away, and therefore it is looking like yeah, it's trying to focus on something else. All right, what's this? I'm getting all right. Okay, cool. Okay, apparently that's T minus 20 minutes, T minus 30 minutes, T minus 30 minutes. There's okay, looks like we might be ready to go. All right, I'm just looking at the rocket. Looking at the rocket on the screen. Apparently, it's got T minus 30 minutes to go. All right, thank you very much, Austin, for the tip about what's going to happen. We've got prop load. Yes. There's a cloud around the rocket. Yes, we've got prop load. The rocket's about to go. No. We've got prop load. It's going to take about 15, 20 minutes for it to load. I got clouds around the outside of it. Ah, right. So before anybody goes to ask, what are the clouds around the rocket? The clouds around the rocket are when the rocket actually starts to they start to load the prop and the propellant, and the propellant is, because it's sub-chilled, what happens is when it warms up, it starts to form steam immediately, and I'm seeing, either I'm hallucinating badly now because I've been live streaming for a long time, but I'm starting to see puffs of cloud around the upper stage of the rocket. It looks like they're doing full prop load. It looks like they're almost ready to go. So that is the first indication and sign that something is starting to happen. Let me just check. All right, looks like it's going to go. We've got a prop load. The chat has gone nuts. I can't even keep up. All right, guys. All right, just a second. I just need to I'm just going to put you guys on hold for not hold, but I'm just going to do a look at the launch for a minute. I'll come back to you. All right. Yep. Looking at it. I'm definitely seeing prop load. It looks like it is getting ready for launch. Okay, so all right, it looks like we're getting ready. Generally, prop load is when we're in the clouds, but the propellant is loading. That means that they are getting ready to actually launch. So we are not far from actual launch. Not sure how much longer it's going to take, but we are getting very much closer to launch. All right. So T minus, I got a notification of T minus 30 minutes, and that was, I can't see the time, 10 minutes before. So, okay, so 2:15. All right, so they're looking like they're going for a 2:15 launch, based on my calculations. And what I'll do is I'll start to move across to actually see if I can do comms and camera at the same time. Let's give this a shot. All right, so I'm over at the camera. I'm just going to need to work out how I'm going to do this. Thank you. Someone is helping out quietly in the background, and he's not on camera. All right, let me get this all sorted here. I'm going to try and zoom back out. I'm going to zoom in first, see if we can better see this prop load. No. All right. All right, that's back far enough now that I should be able to see it. Of course, that's not on. Okay, and I can't see anything through the lens because it is streaming and it won't let me. Wonderful.
Taller than you thought?
All right, let's just have a look at this. All right. Oh, cool. You can see my waist. What a great idea. I'm just going to remove that image. Just give you guys a view of the launch pad. All right, so all right, let's see exactly what happens here now. All right, so this is going to be very, very interesting. I am still continuing to see prop load. There's little wisps of cloud, and we should be almost ready to go. Pretty much excitement guaranteed at this point. All right. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get excited. Hopefully, look, I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys probably got questions and answers in the chat. Please feel free to. You're going to have to entertain yourselves at this point, just simply because I'm trying to control several things at once here. And I keep hitting my head on my gazebo, which is a lot of fun. All right. Let me just see what's going on here. Prop load is continuing, as I can see on the screen. There's been no further notifications of anything changing. All right. Okay, I'm back. All right. So people here, there's a massive crowd. They are asking questions as well as they just wander across and and ask what's going on. So yeah, just in regard to prop load, the clouds that you see outside on the outside of the rocket are actually there because when they're loading the propellant, it actually it warms up and boils off. So that creates those clouds. When those clouds start to disappear is when they are starting to compress. They are starting to press for flight. Pressing for flight means they are almost ready to go. So they stop the boil off. So when the cool propellant actually hits the atmosphere or in the tank, goes into the tank, it warms up, and so therefore they have to release the pressure as they go. So once they've finally released the pressure. When they stop releasing the pressure, that's when they're actually stopping the boil off, and that's when they're actually starting to press. They need all of that for flight, because if they didn't let it out, then basically the the rocket would fall apart, or the rocket would split apart. So yeah, now that that's happening, and we can see that quite clearly. I'm looking at the 2:15 is what the advertised is going to be, but it could launch any time from this point onwards. Apologies, I should be more interactive with all the chat and everything like that, but at the moment I'm focusing on camera and camera control because when this happens, it will happen quick, I imagine, and we'll all find out exactly what's going on. I'm going to try and commentate as we go, and hopefully it'll all work. And if I start screaming, I apologize for blasting everyone's eardrums immediately, because honestly, guys, this is exciting, and this is getting down to the pointy end of being exciting. So again, I'll say this once more for clarity: if it does not go today, or if it fails, it does not matter. What matters is that Gilmour learns from their mistakes, or learns from whatever happens from today's launch. It could be a flawless launch. We don't know. But these rockets are normally festooned with sensors. Festooned, there you go. This word I never thought I'd use in a sentence. These rockets are normally covered in sensors, and they have a plethora of sensors. So what will happen is they just before launch, they'll have a high, once they start pressing, once the flight control computers start controlling the internal rocket launch, the flight termination system is also activated, and the data and telemetry is then being recorded, and it normally is recorded on high, just because they want to know everything will happen up to the point of failure, should there be a catastrophic failure. Again, we don't know. As I've said previously, Gilmour Space Technologies has been very secretive about all this, but hopefully we are going to go for the best, and that they will actually get exactly what they're looking for. Again, publicly stated information is that they're hoping for at least 30 seconds. But yeah, just to let you know. Just once more, I'm not going to change screens. I'm going to focus mainly on the launch and the launch pad, just because anything can happen from this point. We're getting closer. We're about 10 minutes out from the suggested launch time. I just wanted to emphasize once more that One Giant Leap Australia Foundation, thank you very much for sponsoring me for this. You're the ones who helped bring me here. And once more, thank you very much to Launch Heaven Media for actually helping to support me and share this out with most of the world. And of course, Cristiano Bandeo, Astro Animator VFX, if I always forget your online name. He is restreaming this for the Brazilian audience, so thank you very much for that. There is also a number of agencies here in Australia as well that are also restreaming my launch, restreaming this live stream, which they're allowed to do. And oh, cool! There's a couple of kids on dirt bikes who are doing wheelies in front of us. You can't see that on camera. There you go. Just in case anybody was wondering why there was a noise in the background there. There it is. So there you go. All right. So yes, just want to thank everybody for all their support, for helping me to get me here. I'm here now. I'm ready to go. I'm basically, I'm like everyone who's out there. Let's light this candle. Let's do this. All right. I want to see something happen. It doesn't matter. Excitement is guaranteed from the point that everything starts to go to T0. Okay, we've got around about 9 minutes left. No, again, as I said, no countdown timer because when I started streaming this at 11 a.m. this morning, 11:30 this morning, there was at that stage I had no idea of exactly when everything was going to run, or whether or not it was going to run, or what the timings were. But yeah, the indication I had was it was going to be afternoon, and that was on just their normal media channels. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm trying to get closer into the rocket, and there are birds in the way. This is ridiculous. All right, being 12 kilometers away from the actual rocket launch is becoming a bit of a problem, mainly because there's wildlife in the area. Who thought that wildlife would be an issue? Anyway, this is what I've got right now. The image is a little bit blurry, so I'll zoom out once more. Okay, to address some of the concerns that are in the chat, the autofocus. Yeah, I know about the autofocus, guys. I can't turn it off because as soon as I change over to manual focus, what happens is the image becomes much, much worse. So yeah, it's a really unfortunate. It's a series of circumstances that has produced that. All right, just having a look at the rocket. It seems to be, I'm not sure if it's actually pressing for flight just yet, but it should be almost close to liftoff. We've got another 6 minutes to go. So I'm going to zoom out a little more. Whoops. Okay, because when this moves, it'll move fast. Okay, I keep forgetting to mute myself because I'm too busy trying to control everything. You might get some background noise and stuff like that. All right, let's have a look. Okay, the rocket is in the distance. I don't know what's going on. I don't see any more propellant load. Trying a couple of different things. Rocket there in the distance. That's about the perfect zoom right there for the moment. All right, I can't get any closer at the moment just because if it takes off, I don't want to miss that opportunity to pivot the camera. So speaking of which, I need to fix up the camera. Just a sec. All right. Getting closer. 3 minutes. Providing that they actually go with the 215. Okay. All right. All right. So if this is a precise on-time launch, we have approximately 2 minutes left. And then basically it's on for young and old. People are now listening to me, which is weird. They're now saying it's 2:15. I'm like, I could be wrong. It's not like I have any inside information. All right. All right, we've got 1 minute. No, just over. All right. All right. Again, remember that this launch is being sponsored by One Giant Leap Australia Foundation and is also being supported by Launch Heaven Media in the United States. So whatever happens in the next minute or so is what happens. All right. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. I'm going to go into controlling the camera.
Actually, there's free water towers. Two over there. Yeah, there are a lot of I saw one of I think I saw Cash.
So, nothing. So we've passed T0. There is nothing further. The rocket seems to be quiet. Okay. Okay. It looks like there's a bit of conjecture here at the moment whether or not they're launching at 2:15, 2:58, or anytime between now and 5:30 p.m. Well, I'm not seeing any more. I'm not seeing any more propellant load. I'm not seeing any more clouds. I'm not seeing anything else.
Adam is here. Yeah.
All right, so this means that this could go at any time. All right, just let me resecure this camera, and I'll come back on to camera myself. All right, I'm back. All right, so yes, so looks like we are going at 3 p.m. now. Someone is following Adam Gilmour for me. Austin Smith is following Adam Gilmour for me, and he has indicated that it's going at 3 p.m. So that's what it looks like at the moment. That's what it's currently stating. I can't hear me very well. Okay, all right. I keep encountering this issue that people can't hear me very well. If I turn this up any more, I'm going to blow people out. Anyway, all right. Turn it up again. There we go. All right. So, yes. Grateful for any coverage. every coverage, because without Aussienaut would have nothing. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very good statement. But however, that's not what people focus on, because everyone is used to certain levels of live streams and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, so. With that, look, I do apologize. I'll apologize immediately. That this is what we got, and I've invested in what I thought was new camera technology to actually get this to be what it needs to be, to bring better images, all that sort of stuff. To be perfectly honest, I didn't think I'd be 12 kilometers out. I thought I'd be more like 3. And this camera works extremely well. We're over 3 kilometers, so I seem to be outside the range of the actual camera anyway. And then basically, I'd need to invest in a whole bunch of bigger lenses as well. All right, let's have a look at the chat. Do I risk it? Do I see what's going on? Yes, I do. All right. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate your support and telling me that I'm doing a good job. Yeah, I'm trying to yeah, 12 kilometers away. I know. Let's see. I can see if I put that up on screen. There we go. Q&A. There we go. Yep, 12 kilometers away. Oh, yeah. It's a long way. And that's what I've been saying at the beginning. When I said at the beginning of this live stream, for those of you who are tuning in right now, this is as close as I could get. And because everywhere I was exploring around the traps, because of where the launch pad is, it's actually in a bit of a impression in the earth, so it's a bit sunk down. So what that means is, that the near I can get closer, much closer, but you'd see the trees. Our trees are around about 20 to 30 meters high, so you wouldn't actually see the rocket sitting on the pad anyway, and you wouldn't see it until it roses above the trees, and you wouldn't see anything until that point. So we're being up here, even though it is a little bit, not everybody enjoys me being this far away. This is you can at least see the prop load. You've seen the prop load. You've seen that happen. So I'd say that 3 p.m. is probably going to be more of a realistic time frame. What time is it there? Well, it is 2:24. If you wanted to know, Ox. So thank you very much for asking the question. It is afternoon, and the sun is starting to stream down. So I've got all my equipment in order to actually track the rocket for when it does actually go. I'm still faithful that it will go. So if it does go, I've moved my gazebo that I had here. I've moved it across so that way it's a little bit behind me, so that way the camera can pivot up for when the rocket goes. Excuse me, for the way the rocket goes, so that way you guys can see it. I can track it on its way up. So yeah, all right. All right, I'm just going to switch over to the Launch Heaven Media. All right, let's have a look here and see if I can get some of the questions and answers that are going up there. Everyone can hear me. Good, thanks. Okay, thank you. All right, We've seen Elon rocking the space scene here, so pretty much spot on time. Yeah, true. Oh, that's interesting. I made my own. Was it? I lost it. Where'd it go? It's on screen. Okay, I made my own P1000 using. Oh, tripod from P1000 using old headphone dump shop A stage speaker. Oh, okay, cool. Araldite and duct tape, yeah. We don't have duct tape here in Australia, really. That's not an Australian thing, but however, I get your point. Thank you very much for making that point. Yes, I'm once more, I'm going to be having a look at my my equipment. Nikon is doing an excellent job for today. I am going to be reviewing that after this live stream, and I'm going to be looking at getting some new equipment. So again, if anybody would like to come reach out and sponsor me, please feel free to do so. If you want to find out more about me or Aussienaut, then you go to aussienaut.space, AUSSIENAUT.space, and you can find me there. You can also so if you want to reach out and sponsor, you can do that as well. There's also, I have Patreon, like most other YouTubers and streamers. I have a Patreon page, the patreon.com/Aussienaut. It's really that simple. So yeah, if someone knows someone in Sony who would be able to sponsor me, I'm not after lots of equipment. I'm just after one. That way, I can use the Nikon that I already have and a Sony Alpha to actually bring you guys better live streams at the moment. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to be introduced to a company. If there's another company out there that's better than Sony, I don't think there is. That was biased. So yeah, if there's another camera company out there that I should be talking to, then yes, please feel free to make introductions. If you need, you can contact me through aussienaut.space through the About page. There's a contact form there. I'm not going to give out my email address just to anybody. And so yeah, if you want to introduce me for sponsors and all that sort of stuff, please feel free to do so. I will continue to partner with Launch Heaven. I will also continue to partner with One Giant Leap Australia Foundation, or One Giant Leap Australia. Basically, the reason why I keep going back to those guys is because they have continued to support me since I started live streaming, and since I started my YouTube channel, which was in 2018, the same year that the Australian Space Agency was started, by the way. It was started in July. I started in August. So yeah, because once they sorry, I read a comment that's distracted me. So once they started, I realised exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like everyone else, be like the everyday astronaut and all that sort of stuff. I was watching a lot of his content at the time, and basically that gave me the inspiration to focus on get the narrow focus on the Australian space industry and just start doing all that sort of stuff. All right, so I've got to put this one on screen, and nice streamy do, mate. YouTube username. Yeah, thanks. We don't talk like that, but anyway, thank you. We don't go, yeah, nice streamy do, mate. We don't actually talk like that. We actually, and this one I quite like as well, Koala Naut from Anonymous. Oh. Do you know it took me that long to figure that one out? Oh dear, you could literally hear me the clicking in. So yes, that's interesting. All right, everyone can hear me loud and clear. Audio is okay. Thanks for the good work. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys and your support. I'll come back to my channel now, and anyone in the chat over there. All right. Let's see. What happened to my chat? Oh, there it is. Okay, it's gone crazy. I definitely vote for changing our currency to dollar reduce. Thank you. What's a streamy do? Is it related to a didgeridoo? I don't know. By the way, I don't have anything further to say to anybody. But yeah. So at the moment, what is a streamy do? I have no idea. Is my stream frozen? No. There we go. All right. That's good. That's good. All right. All right. So, yes, now targeting 3 p.m., so we're about half an hour away from that happening. And it was this. I'm just looking at some of the trying to read some of the comments. What's this one? Barbie? Don't you say? No, we don't say slip a shrimp on the Barbie. That's no such thing. That's for the American audience. We never say that. We say stick a prawn on the Barbie. We eat prawns. We don't eat shrimp. It's a marketing thing. Yeah, we never said that. And that I remember when that came about, and a lot of people in Australia were actually offended by that. But that's beside the point. That's a past. That's okay. You call it shrimp, whatever you want to call it. We call it prawn. We go and get a bucket of prawns and all that sort of stuff. We don't go out and get a bucket of shrimp. There's a bit of a difference. And our prawns are actually quite large. So we actually have king prawns and things like that. They're about that big, I believe, if you can see that on camera, or maybe a bit more. So yeah, they're actually quite large, whereas shrimp are actually really kind of very tiny, I believe. I don't eat prawns. Again, I'm offending so many people. I don't like mangoes and I don't eat prawns. Don't like prawns. feel free to tune out now. All right, so it's looking like it's going to be 3 p.m. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another break. I need a drink of water. There's a whole ton of people behind me that are accumulating. So yeah, well, what I'll do is I'll take it easy for a second, and I'll come back to you in just a few minutes. Alrighty, I'm back. Hello. All right. Hopefully, everyone is being entertained by the picture of the ERIS rocket sitting in the background there. So far, nothing has really happened. We've seen that it looks like it's going to be 3 p.m. Still at this stage, no further cancellations or anything like that. It looks like it's still going to happen at the right time. All right. Yes, got Gilmour. Let's build a rocket. Gilmour, let's. build rocket and tell everyone not to live stream it. You guys are funny. All right, so I understand that there's been a lot of things that have been happening in the chat while I've been gone. So yeah, basically I've just been taking look, perfectly honest, I've been just taking a break, and for the last couple of minutes and seeing what's going on. Again, no signal on the camera. Just give me a sec. I've got to go fix that. Nothing better than auto shut off. Oh, lovely. All right. Yep, lost signal. Yep, apologies for that. Yes, lost signal. Yeah, camera keeps. Look, despite the fact that I went through and fiddled around with all the manual settings, and made sure that everything was set to manual, but made the necessary changes, it still wants to auto power off all the time. So, all right. All right, just a minute. I have to go off camera again. There are reasons, and yeah, I just need to let people know what those reasons are. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, just need to warn people that if they stand at a certain angle, they will appear on camera, regardless of whether or not they like to. So yeah, I'm just giving them the option to walk away from being on camera, which is this one right here, which people forget because they see the big one and go, oh, okay, we're not going to be on camera, and then forget about the little small one. All right, so. All right, 11 minutes, 12 seconds. All right, so apparently some people are counting down for me. So yeah, this is what it looks like at the moment. This is the view. It looks like we are down to the last 11 minutes or so till T0. We're new T0 of 3 p.m. Well, there's a 2:58 p.m. launch time, which was announced by the mayor of Bowen, I believe. However, I did see someone if someone has been following Adam Gilmour, and he, as the CEO of the company, I think he takes precedent over the Lord Mayor. Anyway, about whether or not his rocket's going to launch. So yeah, I'm just going to clarify that for you guys. That I've noticed that a little bit in the chat. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Let me just have a look at the launch heaven as well. The launch heaven. Yes, where are we? Going through. I'm just having a look through, scrolling through. Prawns and mangoes have an interestingly similar play. Yes. Hang on. Yes, this on screen right now. Prawns and mangoes have an interestingly similar flavor profile. That's what I think. I think they taste the same. That's why I don't like them. Ugh. Anyway, that's me. All right, just a second. I'm going to disappear for a minute, and I'll come right back. Alrighty, back again. I've got a whole bunch of equipment up here, and I'm just letting people know that be careful and not to try and trip over my equipment that I've left laying around. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's all nice and tidy and whatever else. All right, let's have a look. Mango. All right, chuck a crock on the Barbie. No, we don't say that. There's lots of things that Americans actually think we say, but we really don't. All right. Oh, my own live stream chat is going off. So welcome to everyone who was actually in the Aussienaut live stream chat. It's good to actually have you all in here. That's a good one. Big Betty's Gaming. I'm going to put that on screen for everyone to see. There we go. Prediction: no launch, bang, or flight. Well, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? And I don't really have a really decent answer for any of that. Mine is, I really hope they are able to ignite, and I really hope they're able to go, because that would be a nice end result for all, not my own effort, but also for everyone who's up here, which is quite a considerable amount of people at the moment. You might see some people milling around on the back of this camera here, but yeah, it doesn't really demonstrate exactly how many people are up here. There's around, I'd say, 200 now who are all here. There's kids as well who are all here just for this moment, to see this launch. So hopefully, with any luck, everything will work out and everything will be okay. Whatever happens, excitement is guaranteed, and hopefully, with any luck, that something will happen. And then basically, if there's no launch, that's a big bang, then, it doesn't really matter. Gilmour Space will learn from what happens. We'll learn exactly what to improve on their next rocket, because I believe the next rocket is ready to go, or very close towards its end of its development cycle. And yeah, hang on. Right, there's a question here. I've got another good question as well. Is how far do you think it will get? I don't think it'll make orbit. I don't know why I say that, but I don't think it'll make orbit at all. Unfortunately, I think it'll get close, but I don't think it'll actually make it all that way. So, yeah. Hopefully it'll prove me wrong. That's what I would like. So, and the next question here is. Excuse me. So yeah, where am I? I'm at Mountain Nut, near the water tower, and yeah, there's quite a lot of people up here, so it's quite crowded. If anybody wants to come and sell snacks and drinks, now's the time. Bowen, locals, please come around. Snacks and drinks. I could certainly. I've got a big bottle of water that I'm starting to almost get through. I've been going since 11:30 this morning, so. Wouldn't mind a nice cold drink, but anyway, that's all right. That's fine. Oh, all right. Let's just have a look here. Where are we? Nothing further has happened on the actual launch, so I'm just assuming that okay, it'll either happen in the next 3 minutes or it won't happen at all. So I'm just going to go back and switch cameras once more, focus on the launch, and see if anything is going to happen in the next 3 minutes, next 3 to 5 minutes. So we've only got 3 minutes to go. I haven't seen any more prop load. If the load has gone through, I haven't seen anything else to say they've reloaded or continuing to load. So I assume it's all boiled off. I'm just not sure. All right, give me 2 minutes and I will come back and control the camera. Right, I'm back over at the camera, and we are coming up on the first prediction. We have approximately 2 minutes. 2 minutes until something actually happens. Well, you know, the first potential launch of the rocket. All right. So I've loosened up the camera so that way I can track should it go. But we are rapidly approaching T0 for the first prediction, which is by the mayor. Then the other prediction, which is by Adam Gilmour, which is 3 p.m. At this point, I think we're going to be standing down. However, I could be wrong. Sorry, that was however, I could be wrong. All right, I can't see any prop load, can't see any clouds. And again, if there is, I have stepped away from the chat for anybody else to let me know. So I'm just having a look at this at the moment, and I can't see any obvious clouds. All right, let me zoom back out. All right, just having a look. Okay, the 258 has moved through. We're about 1 minute from Adam Gilmour's prediction. But at this point, I actually think that they might stand down. I don't know what gives me that indication. Love to be wrong. All right, just having a look. T0 has passed. No further update. All right, just having a look. Just give me a second. Okay, and like everything, now targeting 323.
So we ended up, we were leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning and not making camp till 6 at night, just so we ended up a week ahead of ourselves. The bugs haven't been bad up here.
All right, so 323 is apparently the new go time. So T0 passed, and the next one is 323. Let me just make that really apparently clear. The next one is 323. All right, and some people who were watching from Scotland, Jim Cleland, hey mate, how's it going? Thanks very much for tuning in. Yeah, dude, go to work. Have a normal day. I'm the only one silly enough to be here to do this. So now targeting 323 is the official word. So Austin, again, thank you very much, mate, for keeping an eye on Adam Gilmour and Gilmour Space. Yes, it is now looking like 323. So, all right. So again, we have a little bit of time once more, and if I see any prop load or anything like that, I'll obviously come back. But for the moment, it looks like it's 323. Alrighty, back again. All right, so it looks like there's a 323, and it looks like there's still prop load going on at the moment. So that gives me a little bit more confidence that 323 might actually happen. So we'll see what you. We'll see exactly what happens there. For the moment, I'm not sure what will happen. Very much like you guys, I'm literally an observer. I'm hoping for the best. Again, not sure what will happen. So yeah, if I can't exactly get any closer. No, I can't get any closer. All right. So yeah, it looks like there is a active prop load that's going on, which means they're reloading the tanks because every time you try and launch a rocket, you have to load your tanks. You load your tanks with propellant. It's cold, and then basically if you don't go within a certain amount of time frame, then you need to top up those tanks and get ready all over again. So that's possibly what they're trying to do now, because it looks like it's going to be a 323. Liftoff. So again, right. So I've got a lot of you online. So Gilmour needs to test launch a live stream first, then try a rocket launch. Yeah, they do. Anyway, that's all right. That's fine. Yeah. So there is still a lot of people hanging out here. A lot more kids now because it's also after school. All right, so the audience has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So yes, just while I'm here in my little bubble. All right, is there an echo? Is that the same for anyone else? Okay, no, I don't think anybody else has pointed out an echo. I hope there's not an echo. If I do, that means I need to turn my gain down, and I might need to change that a little bit because I accidentally touched something before. So yeah, so if anybody hears an echo, please let me know. There's a few things I can do about that. So we're not 10 minutes, not yet. So yeah, we're getting closer towards being the pointy end again. Again, prop load is always a good thing. That we can see you can see that around the rocket in the distance. Again, wind is 20 kilometers an hour from the northeast. That should be okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the tolerance limits are, Terry, for the... let's just see. Where's Q&A? There we go. Yes, should that be 20 kilometers an hour from the northeast? Should that be okay? No idea. I don't know what the tolerance limits are for this particular rocket. So it's a 3-stage rocket, as I've said before. Four serious hybrid rocket motors on the first stage. On the second stage, there's a second hybrid motor that is just a singular one for the second stage to get to that additional there. And then there's on the third stage, which is the final push to orbit, is a biprop rocket engine called Phoenix, and that should kick in at the end, providing everything goes well. So that's what we're looking at the moment, and whether or not the rocket can actually tolerate these wind conditions, I'm not sure. I did see something from Adam Gilmour saying that the wind conditions were about 4 or 5 kilometers per hour, which is close to what their limits are. So 4 to 5 kilometers an hour. I don't think 20 kilometers an hour. I'm not sure. However, looking at what Adam Gilmour has been saying, he's saying that that their wind speed limit is about 4 or 5 kilometers an hour. They've got to release another balloon. They've got one left apparently for the day, and then basically that'll tell them whether or not the winds that they transit through. If they're low winds at the moment at ground level, and they transit into something that's a little bit higher. So if the wind speed changes, what that means is if the wind speed changes as it goes up through the atmosphere, it's the equivalent of the rocket being hit by a sledgehammer, which means it could push it off its nominal trajectory. Which is so as it's four engines and they're all vernier thrust. So that means they will need. Whacked by winds at 4 to 5 kilometers an hour. They're just over the limit. Rocket is ready to fly. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan Wilson, for putting that up. So thank you very much for that. So yes. So will my camera pick up sound as well? Yes, it will. I believe it should. However, okay, winds are too high at the 4 to 5 kilometer altitude, not 4 to 5 kilometer hour winds. Oh, right. Sorry, Robert. Thank you, Robert. So at 4 to 5 kilometers altitude. Thank you. 4 to 5 kilometers altitude. So that's where the high winds actually come up, not 4 to 5 kilometers an hour. I apologize. you try and read these things and simulate it quickly, and then you're proven wrong, which is always a fun thing to do. So, all right, so yes, so 4 to 5 kilometers up, the winds can be spectacular, and again, it's if they're quite high, it's like the equivalent of the rocket being hit by a sledgehammer, which means it can be pushed off course really, really rapidly and really, really quickly, and the rocket may not be able to survive that sort of a push on it. All right, having a look. All right, when is it going to be launched? Now, new T0 is now 3:30 p.m. I understand that, so they've got 14 minutes of actually chat. Yep. And there's a lot of people in the Launch Heaven Launch Heaven chat who are actually saying there's a very good chance it might be scrubbed. That's what they're saying, and it looks like there might be weather will be better tomorrow. So again, I'm still here. I'll be back to do this all over again. I'll just need to pack up and try and troubleshoot some issues I've had today, and then I'll be back again tomorrow to bring it all to you live. All right. So at the moment, yeah, we're just literally waiting for the time to pass to see whether or not they'll actually launch today, or whether or not that's going to change at all. So at the moment, what I'll do is I'll leave you with the view of the launch pad for the moment while I get up, because I need to, again, control the camera just in case they go to launch. All right, 12 minutes to go. All right, we'll see if... So if the winds are quite high at 4 to 5 kilometers altitude, then that could actually stop this launch entirely. Upper level wind is something that could actually stop the launch entirely. And I may have to reset and try again tomorrow. All right, just having a look at this. Yeah, every time the camera wiggles, that's me. All right. All right, just waiting for the time to tick down. We are 11 minutes out. All right. I'm just going to mute myself because it's not interesting, the background noise. right, we are 7 minutes out. All right, let's see if this thing will fly or nothing will happen. Again, all right, so we're getting close to the end of the launch window. So launch window closes at 5:30 p.m. They have right up until 5:30 p.m. to actually launch this, and we will see whether or not they actually will stand down, and we'll get a new post about them standing down. Let me just have a look. Cool. Oh, and I've just been told it's scrubbed. Hang on. Let me check. I have just been told it's scrubbed.
Are you really? Tell me something I don't already know. Always hungry.
All right. So thanks everyone for joining me on this live stream. So that's the end of it. All right. Just a minute. I just need to let everyone know here. All right. Just 2 seconds. I'll be right back on live stream in just a minute. Alrighty. If you're still here and you're still hanging around, yeah, the official word is it has been scrubbed. Adam Gilmour has posted not more than a few minutes ago, maybe a minute or two ago, that yes, today they are standing down. It is a scrub for today. They can't get past the upper level winds. They haven't calmed down at all, so they have to unfortunately scrub for today. They are going to try again tomorrow. So what that means is, yes, I will be back again tomorrow to try and live stream this all to you guys all over again. If you want to be part of it, then please feel free to subscribe. Feel free to subscribe. Click on the bell icon. Give it a thumbs up. Reshare, repost, do all that wonderful stuff that you guys normally do. Please, if you want to. Please launch this time. I need to sleep. Yes, I know. I understand. Some people need to sleep. Some people need to go to bed. I have been here since 11:30 this morning, trying to bring this to you. But yeah, scrub it up is what it is at the moment. And so yeah, therefore, it didn't say why. It did say why the upper level winds at the 4 or 5 kilometre mark is the one that's actually is stopping them from launching today. They can't get past that. So yes, again, I'll be here again tomorrow. Probably bring some sunscreen this time because I'm getting a little bit sunburned. But anyway, that's all right. So yes, just remember they are standing down for today. However, keep in mind that I am still going to be here live streaming this tomorrow. Please, if you want to give it a thumbs up, a like, all that sort of stuff, do all the usual things, share it amongst your family and friends, all that sort of stuff. Please do. I will do this. It doesn't matter if there was three people watching or 100,000 people watching. I'm still going to bring this to everyone because this is what I do. Because it keeps me out of trouble mainly. Because everyone needs a hobby. This is mine. All right. So just remember, guys, I'll be here. Scrub for today. Upper level winds between the 4 and 5 kilometre mark. Adam Gilmour made the post. I think it was on Twitter not so long ago. You want to go and check out follow him on Twitter. You can feel free to do so. Please follow me. You can find me on social media, all that sort of stuff. If you want to try and help sponsor me, please feel free to do that as well. I'm on patreon.com/Aussienaut. If you want to try and get in contact with me, please feel free to do so. It's at the aussienaut.space/about. There's a contact page there. Fill that out. It gets to me. I will be in touch. But yes, today is stand down. Just to re-emphasize once more, it's scrubbed. It's done. It's over. They'll try again tomorrow. I'll be back here to live stream this. And so until that time, until I'm here tomorrow, just remember, everyone, as always, you must remember. Where is it? You must remember. Stay caffeinated.